Hey y'all, my name is Heron, and this week I decided to try a slightly different format. So I decided to record myself live drawing a baby chicken in Minecraft. It took about 2.5, 3 hours, so if you're looking for something to just put on in the background this week, I'm trying this out for the first time. We'll see if it's a hit. Alright, we're trying something new today, which is recording audio and my screen at the same time. So I thought I would do a digital recording again. I've been doing some more traditional sketches. I thought a digital tutorial might be a little more detailed and interesting. Give it a shot. Alright, so just like in the traditional world, the digital world, we're going to follow the same basic steps. So step one, find a reference. Is that legible at all? I don't think so. That's okay. Alright, so here's the reference that I found on the internet. So you can see these sort of adorable little chickens, and they're very square. Alright, so step two, we want to sketch the big shapes. Alright, so before I get into these next few steps, I want to talk about something, and that's called readability. So, readability. Ironic. So readability in art means how can I look at something and instantly recognize what it is? This is a very important technique in graphic design, in illustration, character design. So basically, you want to say, okay, I'm not going to draw this exact shape. I'm not just going to copy this, trace it exactly as is, because where's the fun in that? But I want it to be readable. I want it to be something recognizable that when I look at it, I say, oh, that's art of a Minecraft chicken. So if you think about like a real life chicken, what's the difference between a real chicken and a Minecraft chicken? Well, a real chicken's gonna have sort of this rounded shape, right? It's gonna have this like separate head and a beak, and so the shapes are very, very different right off the bat. So even though the color might be a little similar, although I mean not really, but I think to be recognizable as a Minecraft chicken, the number one thing we want to think about is it's got to be square, right? I think anytime you see fan art and it's this weird cube shape, you instantly think of Minecraft. So the first part of readability in this instance is going to be, is it square? Second part of readability is the colors. And so we can literally just color pick from this and it'll be very recognizable. I think I'll probably end up adding a few other colors, pushing it a little bit to make it look even more 3D, even more artistic. All right, so let's try sketching in our shapes. And it doesn't really matter what color I use for this, because I'm just gonna kind of copy over it, but I think I'll grab this orange straight from the chicken. So let's see. So, and I think I'm gonna draw both. I think I'll draw both of these two. Whoops. So I'm gonna draw first like a big chicken over here, and maybe another little cube over here. All right. And already you can see I'm kind of being creative with this in the sense that I'm not just drawing exactly the same shapes, right? They don't have to be perfect squares. Just being a square in and of itself is going to make it more recognizable. So let's make these, all right, a little less square, a little more cube, right? Make it 3D. Draw this like cube shape. And the same goes for the chicken. We want it to sort of have some depth. So let's make these in a little cube shapes. And remember that each object is going to have its own sort of vanishing point depending on which direction they're facing. So we have this cube going back this way, sort of pointing that way from one side to the other on this shape, which indicates that it's facing forward and a little bit down, right? This one, on the other hand, maybe I want it to sort of face, well, actually, come to think of it, these are very inconsistent. All right, let's make this a little more consistent. All right, so this one now is facing this way. And you can, I mean, it's easier to see on the cubes because they literally have these lines. Like, it's literally going the exact direction of this line. And that's in fact why a lot of artists draw cubes around objects to sort of establish roughly their vanishing point. And if you don't know what a vanishing point is, it's just sort of the point that they go all the way back to. So if you connected these up at some point, the vanishing point would be like back here. All right. So we're starting to get these little shapes. Let's see, it's got this little thread thing on its neck. I can't even remember what that's called. I actually grew up with chickens on a farm partially. I still don't remember what it's called. Okay, we got that. Maybe we got like some little eyes over there. I don't know. So the shapes, they're kind of rough. In fact, I'm kind of breaking my own rule that I've already told you in the past, which is don't put too many details with the rough shape. But I'm just trying to establish for you and for me that, you know, here's the direction its head is facing. This is maybe what it's looking at. And because it's digital, it's a lot more flexible. So, digital art, you can kind of just keep messing around with it, draw over it as many times as you want. It's one of the main benefits. Alright. So, yeah. I don't know. I feel like this leg is kind of off balance. Sometimes when I look at the legs of my drawing, it feels like, would that actually stand on its own? I'm not quite sure. So if you look at your drawing and you think that's about to topple over, you might just need to move the legs. You might not need to change anything else. If it feels like it's toppling over, just sort of change the foot or the leg. Alright. Maybe we'll add some little details on the feet here too. I don't know. Just having some fun with this little sketch. Trying to figure out how do I make it look like a little chicken while still looking like a square. Okay. We can erase these. Alright. Alright. So we have a little sketch. So step 3, just like before, grab this color again. Step 3, we want to add a base color, or multiple base colors. Alright, so we've got our little sketch here. Let's add the base colors on a separate layer. So that way, if we ever want to come back to our sketch, we can kind of look at it. Alright. So this would sort of make a decent base color. We need to think about this. do we want to go from an overall midtone? I think that would be best. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to add a layer below the sketch, and I'm going to take some of this green color, and just add this behind everything. So we're going to sort of put this base color down in the background. So this is another really nice thing that we can easily do quickly in Digital Realm, is we can add a base color in the background. And so we want this color, if you look over here, it's right about in the middle, right in between light and dark. So that's something called a midtone. We want to grab a midtone for this base color, and in fact most of our base colors should roughly be a midtone. There's an argument to be said from working from a darker color to a lighter color. I think for now I'm just going to work with some midtones first. Alright. You know what? Like, even that's a little light. Maybe we can go even darker for the midtone. So yeah, so this is where we get a little more painterly, we start working outside. So something that I personally just happen to know from experience is that when you take a yellow or an orange color and you make it darker, you often want to go a little more red. So I just bring this down a little bit into red to really make it more of a decent orangey midtone. Okay. Alright. So we can do... Hold that on the same layer. I want to go over the sketch. Let's think about this. There's sort of two options when you're filling in a sketch in Photoshop or in any sort of digital art program. Some people like to color below the sketch like this and then use the sketch as sort of line art or even erase it entirely. Some people like to go over top of the sketch. I think that's what I'm feeling inclined to do right now. Alright. I think I'm going to do that. Makes it less likely to be sloppy. Sometimes we use these tools as sort of a crutch. Sometimes you might find yourself saying, oh, I don't need to worry about this being smooth and clean and nice because it's just it's like a rough sketch, it's an under sketch. And I think that's really a cop-out, and it makes us not only lazier as artists, but it just makes our art worse when we depend on the tools that we're using rather than our knowledge and our best practices. So I'm going to go right over this and not depend on this sketch, because again, like, it's such a rough sketch. You're not going to end up with that in the end anyway. You're going to have to go over most of it no matter what. It's just establishing a shape. Okay. We do that. Alright. And then the sort of mama chicken. Let's see, that's a blue. Wow. It really doesn't even look blue in that picture, does it? Relative to the green, it looks so gray. It's interesting this game has changed the shaders so much over time. I think I'm going to make it a little less blue. Believe it or not, I'm actually going to make it less colorful than the original. Yeah, because that blue, I think, in contrast with the green that we have is just a lot. But maybe I'll make it darker. A little bit darker, not too much. Yeah, okay. So desaturate and make it a little darker. I think that'll make it look a little more natural. But we can always change the color later too. So again, it's nice to know that we have all these fancy digital tools to do things like change the color in a pinch. but it's not good to over rely on them. We still want to be thinking with our brains, and I've been definitely guilty of that before in the past where I just went, oh, I'll fix it later in digital, make everything really messy. And it's not a good practice, and it's not actually saving us any time. Alright. So block out this nice blocky shape. And then we fill it in with sort of a lighter, still kind of a bluish. Bluish is fine, but I'm still making it less saturated. Alright. There's that. Alright. There's that. Ooh. And, you know, it's nice to be able to just quickly change the brush size. All these lovely, lovely tools, but again, we don't need them. You can make something that looks really cool using the cheapest possible tools. Don't feel like you have to get crazy expensive art supplies to make good art. That looks so silly. I think sometimes that's an important thing too, is like, when do you know you're done? When you look at your own artwork and go, yeah. Oh, I love this red color. That's a nice red. I think I'll keep that. I am trying to keep some of these colors pretty close and consistent with the original because it's usually better if you can do that, but they don't have to be exact, you know. Artist rendition, but in fact that's actually a little oversaturated too. It's funny, the colors don't look as oversaturated here as they actually are. Alright, a little darker and less saturated for that too. Ooh, even less saturated. Let's see. Yeah. Alright. That's nice. Of like a darker base color. So again, we're putting in midtones, but with midtones sometimes it's better to go dark. It really depends on the surface. See this sort of whatever that thing is called, dangly thing around its neck. Those have these sort of nice dark undertones in real life. But if it's something like the little baby chick's feathers, you know, those probably aren't going to be quite as dark, even in the darkest parts of them. So we need to keep that in mind, that certain objects really do reflect more or less light than others. In fact, this is looking very dark. So I think I'm going to go in with some of that yellow. Do I want to do that yet? You know what? No. I'm going to wait. I'm going to do that later. Okay. Yeah, it looks like a good color for the eyes. Alright. Oh, and I forgot to do that. Kind of all over. Yeah, they do actually have a darker beak than the parrots do. Alright. And I think in the sketch I did something like that was cute. It's a lot of times you just roll with it. You just, oh, that looks cool, I'm gonna keep it there. Happy little accidents. You know, to quote Bob Ross. Let's see. Alright. Oh. You know what? I like these better being not squares. I'm gonna make an executive decision. That looks so stupid. I'm gonna make an executive decision to make the eyes rounded. Maybe I lied. Yeah, that's kind of cute. Rounded a little bit further apart. I think that's cute and derpy looking. It sort of gets the message across. Yeah. Do I want to put the eyes on a separate layer? Yes. Alright, I'm gonna put the eyes on a separate layer and make life easy for myself. Because the eyes are not gonna change color a whole lot, the rest of it will. It looks so dumb. Like that. Yeah. That's so cool. Alright. I feel like I'm missing that. See that little, the wing? Yeah, like this needs another plane. I think, yeah, if I just do that, and then I can imagine the rest of it as the plane, so I think I would go back to like there-ish. Yeah, there we go. Just create another little shape. Alright, so we're just sort of carving the colors into a shape. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, we're not going for absolutely perfect squares. I could do that, but it kind of kills the joy. And it's so easy to just fix them up later. Alright. Those eyes are too dumb. I need to fix them a little bit. Alright. Okay. So let's grab this nice yellow color. And I'm going to think about texture for a second. What sort of texture do we want this thing to have? So, if you know anything about real chickens, real baby chickens, they have these tiny, tiny, tiny soft little feathers. They have this really, like, cute, soft little texture. They don't really have the big feathers like their parents do yet. So maybe if we try to do something like that. Actually, I'm going to do this in a separate layer. Oh, and I should probably write down in my notes. What are we doing? You know what? I'm going to grab this to the top, actually. It should be above everything. Alright. This is getting away from me already. Okay. So, we want to do shadow, and then 5 highlights. This step we've been skipping a lot because I've been working in, you know, old-fashioned markers. It's kind of hard to do with markers. It's not impossible. But it's a lot easier to do highlights when you're working in digital or with paint. So we're going to make sure to do that. So, bad me, I almost skipped ahead a step. Actually, it's not really that big a deal. You know, they sort of teach you in art class that you're supposed to start with darker tones, you know, either mid and then dark and then highlight, or dark and then mid-tone and then highlight, but it's not really that huge a deal. Some people have a slightly different workflow, and that's okay. And I think sort of what I've done is I did sort of start from a darker tone, but I will add a little bit more shadow. Let's add a little bit more shadow, and let's think about how the shadow will define the shape. So, I should do this on another layer, huh? No, do it on that layer. I think that's fine. Yeah, just the eyes need to be on a separate layer. Alright. So let's draw these little things. Actually, I think that's going to be a highlight at some point. Alright, you know what? Let's take a second to think about this, shall we? Where do we want the light source to come from? I think the answer is, I think I want the light source to come from outside of the canvas, going down. So like it would be hitting, the light would be hitting like right there. It's a compelling argument to switch these steps around. Let's just do both at once. Alright, so I think I want the light source to kind of be like right there. Does that make any sense? So it's coming from outside of the canvas. It's hitting things at this sort of a downward angle. I want it to be like that. Yeah. So, in that case, this is actually going to be a lot lighter, and so is this. Yep. All right, and so is that. Interesting. All right. That's okay. We're learning new stuff. In fact, yeah, I'll just do that also. All right. This is like such a good way of explaining lighting too, because they're cubes and you can easily see sort of where I'm talking about the light coming from. So you get like, definitely that's going to be the lightest part of the baby chick. And that's going to be the lightest part of the mama chicken. And we could do like okay, so it's gonna hit sort of this corner the most, or that corner the most. Looks like it would hit this corner, yeah. Alright, we want to try to think consistently about the lighting as much as possible, because it's going to make a big difference if the lighting is consistent. Alright. Oh, you know what, that's a little vivid. Let's do, I kind of don't want that to be bright. I want it to be like this sort of a color. A nice little tan color. Yeah, that looks good. Alright. And again, everything is kind of square, but it doesn't have to be perfectly square. So, just give the general idea. And maybe we would say, have this be a lighter... Oh, no, that doesn't look good. You know what? We gave it a try. Was that too dark? Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Maybe we could even do like a quick little pop. Yeah, that looks alright. And then what is this color? Why am I... Oh, it's the sketch. That's why. I already forgot what color the under sketch was. Even though it's right there. Like a little pop of shadow right there. Alright, so we're sort of doing shadow and highlights at the same time, but that's okay. Sometimes that's just what happens. Alright. So I want to think also, while I'm doing this, about the texture. So when you're doing shadow and highlights, you always want to be thinking about texture. So what is the texture of this beak? Maybe the beak is kind of shiny, right? Kind of smooth. And what is the undercolor versus what sort of colors will the lighting effect give it? And so for this, I'm not trying to make these look like straight lines or like solid shapes. I'm kind of making it look like feathers, because it is inherently, it's feathers. And maybe I want to take off that sharp white highlight too. I don't like that, because I think the baby chick feathers would not be that bright. The mama chick's feathers are white, and so we want to make those a little lighter. Alright, I'm gonna take a second to pause and think about this again. So what sort of texture do I want? I know we talked about the feathers here. What sort of texture do I want for the body? And how much should be square? And how much should be feather? I'm thinking maybe of doing like a simplified texture. And doing like a... You know... that's even too much. Oh yeah, because I was saying like the feathers would be smaller here. Yeah. So maybe this one can be mostly a square. Like a rounded square, and then the other one can be sort of larger feathers, like that, you know? Oh, that looks so silly. Okay, I'm sold. Alright, let's make these sort of bigger feathers here. It looks so dumb. Alright, I love it. This is that's really what I'm going for these days as an artist, to look as dumb as humanly possible. You know, I think that's what's important in life. I aim to be stupid. So let's add some stupid feather texture to this part. It looks so dumb. It's great. Alright, yeah, maybe the feathers on the wings would be a little... I don't know. Yeah. A little dumb. Dumb little chicken. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. That was kind of cute. I like it. Alright. Ooh, yeah. Could do like a cool little... Ooh, I like that. That cool little shape in the head. So silly. So we're sort of like maintaining the square, but adding to it, you know? We're not going to take away from the square so much as add a little texture to it, but keep it visibly still cubic. Visibly cubic. That's my new band name. Alright. Wow. I don't know. Sometimes I realize that I've gotten so into the rhythm of what I'm doing that it doesn't really make any sense. It's not actually contributing. It just kind of felt good to move my hand that way for a second. The struggle with art is that I think sometimes the more meditative it gets, the harder it is to to remember what you're doing. It's like, relaxing. Alright. Yeah. And at this point, you might be wondering, like, are you still using the hard round brush? Yes, I'm still using the hard round brush. It is okay to use the hard round brush way more than you think. The more that I've painted digitally, the more that I've drawn in general, the more I think that you should use, like, a hard, solid color as much as humanly possible. Like, block that stuff in, be bold. Let's see. Do I want this sketch anymore? Is this sketch serving a purpose? That's interesting. Yeah, I guess I'll keep it there. Maybe I'll just merge this sketch with this layer. I feel like I don't want them to be on a separate layer anymore. Alright. Yeah, I want to be able to, like, keep the sketch that's part of the legs, but erase part of it here and there. Alright. So then I just end up with this. I feel like the mama chicken's coming along really well and the baby chicken looks really dumb. Like, mama chicken looks dumb in a good way. Baby chicken looks dumb in a we need to help you. You need some help. Let's see. Yeah. We need to fix this. Whatever this this thing is, we need to fix it. I want like a, I don't know. No, let's do that. Let's do, interesting. Alright. Yeah. So silly. Alright. Oh. I think it needs like a hard line. I don't know why. Okay, not like that. That was not correct. Yeah, I think that works. Nah. Yeah. It look like a, yeah, make it more boxy. Alright, I want like halfway in between that and that. Like a, yeah, maybe, yeah, that looks too similar to this. Do I just want the feathers? I don't know. Struggle. Alright, how do I get this? I definitely want this way more yellow. And way more up there. But not too similar to that. Alright. That maybe? Like even higher. Yeah. So it's not quite the same. Okay. It still looks a little more in shadow, maybe? I don't know. What do I want to do with this? What am I doing? Yeah, I feel like my mid-tone here is just way not the right color. Maybe I do want to just replace the whole thing. Yeah, because when working with a square, you don't really get that much variance on each side, you know? Oh, but I don't want to replace that. Will this work? Maybe. I was kind of worried about that. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it the hard way. Let's do it like that. Okay. Make some nice little shapes there anyway. Sure. Alright. Okay. That looks much better. Yeah, that's a better shape. Sorry, color. It's a better color. Speaking of which, that's a little dark too. Yeah, I think I started out with the baby chicken being just way too dark in color for a bright yellow bird. That's okay. We live and learn. You can still, like, grab a few of these. Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, and then this would also have a little, like, arm thing coming out, right? Well, yeah. Okay. Grab like that. Do a little. Yeah, why not? Okay. Alright, so kind of combining the highlights and the shadow. Doing a little more blocking. You know, because we have the freedom to do so many different things, we end up doing a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good so far. Alright, I would like to add a little bit more color detail though. So here's where it gets really interesting. So objects in the back, they're going to have a slightly different color than objects in the front. So we're going to take a low opacity brush and play around with sort of adding these like different blue tones. I think that's really fun. And it really makes it pop, and it really makes it look like it's a little further away. Ooh, that blends right in with the green, which I don't hate actually. I think that's kind of cool. So, yeah. This is actually a concept called atmospheric perspective, and I guess this wouldn't really be from atmospheric perspective because it's in the foreground, so it would be more so reflecting from the sky. But regardless, you know, things that are a little further away, things that are out of the, you know, yellow light source, they look a little more blue. You know, actually, I want to add some of that too. Yeah. This is a really cool trick, especially when you're working with so many yellows and oranges, like warm hues. If you add a little bit of blue, really makes it pop. Actually, I think for the leg, I'm going to use a lighter blue. And maybe like 100% almost, or like 60, yeah. Okay, that looks pretty cool. I'll do that. And a lot of this is, you know, it's practice and trial and error, right? I got a lot faster by practicing. So if this is all a little crazy to you, you know, don't worry about it right now. If you learn one or two things from this, that's really all I can ask for. You know, if some of it's a little confusing, if I don't do a great job at explaining it, I don't know. Ask me in the comment section. Why'd you do that? Why? What is wrong with you? So yeah, giving it this nice little bounce light in the shadows, and that will make it look so much more 3D. Oh wait, this was on that side. Whatever, I don't really care. I feel like usually the sort of light blue bounce light is coming from wherever it can. It's from all around you. It's more of like an atmospheric light that affects most things in nature when they're outside because of the sky and all that. The general way that light just scatters and bounces all over the thing. So that looks pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're getting some cool effects here. Oops. Oh, I realize now I forgot to add the lighter red to that. That would be nice. Yeah, pretty happy with that color. I'm gonna do like a, yeah, make this extra boxy looking. Add a lighter, even like a slightly more orangey red, pink, whatever. Whatever. Like I'm not doing my most convincing Bob Ross impression. Whatever. Alright. That looks kind of cool, right? Something. Yeah. So, I feel like now is a good time to point out that I'm actually on the last step, which is detail. It's just these eyes looming. 6. Oops. Just realized my opacity is still down. Alright. 6. Details. Wow, none of this is legible at all. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yay! Okay. Oh, yeah, I want some more highlights in this for the little feathers. Why am I going that way? I don't know. Alright. Do little feathers. So much fun. I love little texture details like that. They're just so fast and easy. You know, pretty much anything you do at this point will look great as long as everything else is really blocky. So, once you get that, the rest of it established in these like big, bold block colors, then you can add these silly little details that just make it look so much cooler. Chicken! Yay, chicken! It's got like all these tiny, tiny, soft little down feathers. Add a little texture, add a little color. Have fun with it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Some of them, they'll overlap the beak maybe. That's fine. Ooh, speaking of the beak, I feel like the beak would have a nice little sort of a cast shadow, Let's even use some of that color. Take the opacity down and do like a nice, yeah, see, in line with where the light's coming from. And add a little more of that shadow. Yeah, and that just really pops. Even take some of this black color, a little extra right in there. Oh, very cool. Alright. And yeah, a little more shadow around that too. Like this would be a lot lighter on the top with the little feathers. Yeah. Maybe even connect some of these a little bit more. Yeah. Alright. It's looking kind of cool. Kind of messy, but, I can clean it up a bit. Whatever. Alright. Speaking of cast shadow, do you want to view these as casting a shadow? Cool. Not that color. Like that? Like yeah. And then bring back, I liked that little bounce light though. Bring that back. Yeah. Like that. We can even go up to the eye layer, start adding some highlights. Let's see. Really, really like that blue bounce light we were using. Can use it for some underneath ones. Sort of like a rim light. There's so many different words for this. And then oh. Oh, so cute. Yeah. Kind of like that actually. That's fine. Yeah. All right. What now? Let's see. I feel like they need a little more detail. Yeah. Let's do like a few little orangey things off of there. Maybe, ooh, some highlights on the legs would be nice. Yeah. Like, when you know chicken feet, they have that kind of texture. They have the, what's that little, like contour lines? Yeah. Make it go around a little bit. Yeah. Do you have, how many toes does a chicken have? It's like 3 or 4. Oh well, I don't care enough to look it up. Okay. Yeah. Alright. You know, just sort of clean things up a little bit, make it look a little nicer. I don't know how clean I'm really gonna get with this. I feel like this is already a pretty long recording. No. More of a, what's that color? It's a cool color. Yeah, I feel like I should put more shadow on the legs too. Yeah, they definitely need some more shadows. You know, again, a lot of this is like, it's practice, right? It's looking at actual pictures of chickens and knowing things about chickens. You can definitely use a reference if you want to figure out some more realistic details. But I think I'm not trying to get it too crazy, terrifyingly accurate. Let's see, what else do these guys need? What else would look nice? Oh, that's kind of cool, because behind that... Oh yeah, so I should get rid of the light source. I feel like... What layer is that on? Oh, I've been... You know what? I might as well combine these layers because I've been drawing on both anyway. Alright. Okay. What else do we want? I want to add some like little details on the grass. I like how the grass has all these different colors in it. You know? I don't think there's anything on this layer. What do I reference? Yeah, I feel like it needs a little more texture. Something in the grass. Yeah. Alright. Okay, this is like a... Yeah, it's like one of those midtones. Alright, let's add some highlights to the grass, maybe? Let's try it. Ooh, if I make them squares, that would be really cool. Yeah. Well, square pattern to the grass, maybe. I feel like it kind of did something similar in game. Yeah. I don't know. Mess around with it. See what looks cool. Yeah. I do like it of that. Yeah. That could be kind of neat. Just like a really easy background texture. Because I don't feel like drawing every little blade of grass, but I think I'll add in something eventually. See if I do that and then maybe add a new layer and add just like a simple shadow to it. Like if I do that, and then maybe take like a bluish, ooh, that's like really dark blue, so I meant like that. And then we did like a, right? I think that's, yeah, basically where the shadow would be. And did kind of like a, yeah. And then we can just reduce the opacity a little bit. Or not, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, maybe make it like a multiply layer. Oh, that's kind of neat. Let's see, if we multiply, if we do overlay, that's a little bright, soft light. Ooh, like a hard light. Like a hard light. Alright, I like that effect. That's kind of cool. Maybe not. You know what? Maybe I just liked it the way it was. That's like really dark, but we could do... Yeah, you know what? Maybe multiply is the best. I don't know. Let's see. And then, okay. So back to the background, right? This, oh. It looks kind of cool without the background, actually. Let's see what happens if I make this a little smaller. Do like more of a framing device, like just cut that whole bit off. Ooh, that's kind of neat. Oh, look at that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't know. Alright. I like that shape. I'll make this a little more rounded, sort of. So it doesn't look so much like the accident that it is. Like that? Yeah. Why not? Oh. Look at how cute the little baby chicken is. It's so silly. I feel like if let's see if I can filter blur, like a motion blur. That's what I found is the best for the shadows, honestly, is a motion blur. Because it makes them look more like shadows. Oh yeah, that looks kind of like a shadow, I think. Okay. do want some more. I'm gonna. Wait, was this on a separate? No, I added a layer and I didn't put anything on it. Okay. Um, so what I would like to do now is I would like to draw in some more details for the grass. Like some, yeah. Except maybe put that above the other layer, yeah. Um, like above that, yeah. So, ooh. So this is another important thing. If you need to establish depth, it's always good to add sort of like a foreground element, you know? It doesn't have to be the same as in the background, just instantaneously you get that sense of depth. And then, of course, if we want to add some light back into it, we could take... I don't want it to be the same green as that green. I want it to be kind of more of a yellow. Do that. Yeah. Just add a few details like that. I could add like a way lighter highlight. Like that, maybe. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. It's kind of readable. I don't know. So I had to start recording a third time. Excuse me. So I had to start recording a third time. Hopefully, third time's a charm. It never really occurred to me how difficult it is to record multiple hours of clean audio in a row. I got more tea again, though. All right. So at this point, I think I pretty much finished most of what I was trying to accomplish in terms of the flat colors. And now all I really need to do is try to clean it up a little bit. Cleaning it up a little bit can be easier said than done. Sometimes that takes longer than all the rest combined, but I'll try to make it kind of quick today. Fix this texture a little bit, maybe. Oh, that looks nice. Take that out. Yeah. Yeah, so sort of when you're working with shapes like this, you know what? Anything you can do to really clarify what the texture is great, because you're working with this like white background with all these different textured elements. It really just makes it pop. So now you can really see where the grass in the foreground is, sort of the shape of the grass in the background. All right. Oh, you know what? I kind of like that color. I kind of like that color as like helping with the outline shape. That's the color of the under sketch that we did. Let me see if I can make that pop a little more without making it too aggressive. Yeah. Yeah, and I really want to start, maybe that is a little much. A slightly less intense version of that. No, I think it's all the same. You know what? Yeah. Rather than doing that, I don't know what that was. Rather than doing that, I can pull it from here. Oh, that's better. Yeah. See, it's a slight difference in color, but it's just less harsh. And these are, you know, these are always things that are kind of just, it's up to you, the artist. Some people would use a harsh black line at this point, you know. So it's a stylistic choice. But I'm just using this to sort of speed up the process to make these shapes really nice and a little cleaner, a little more readable. This is sort of like a speed painting, so I'm not going to go too crazy with it, you know. but I would like to just make these look a little more like feathers. So I think I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to start just adding in this tiny little feather details, you know, just to make it look a little bit more like a feather. And I think that'll be nice and readable from a distance. That's really what we're going for. Again, if you ever just need to, yeah, see how that's starting to look more like a feather? I think if I even did like a tiny eraser tool right here and just made like a, yeah, a little more shape definition. Yeah, I think that looks kind of cool. So it just looks even less clean and tidy and even more like a bunch of ruffled little feathers. What am I doing? Alright, I think it's lagging a little bit. Oh well. Hopefully the recording doesn't lag too much. I am brand new to a lot of this stuff. I have legitimately never done this in my life. So if it's really a little awkward, oh, I think that's too textured. I think I need to dial it back a little. If it's a little awkward and unprofessional, I do apologize. I am still learning. And I think an important part of my learning process, at least, is just being comfortable making a fool of myself. I think sometimes I just need to say, you know what? That was silly. It's okay. I do silly things sometimes. I'm a little bit of a goof. It's okay. It's okay to be silly. You can't be too serious in this world, you know? You can't take yourself too seriously. You'll never get anything done. Oh yeah, that really helps. Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah, that's really cool. I think maybe a little more of this. Dial the yellow back a little bit more. Like that. Yeah. This is kind of sloppy looking. Not quite sure what to do about that. Other than just fix it. What do I do about that? Fix it. Fix it, fix it, fix it. What was that from? Fix it. Ah, that was Futurama, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, I should draw like a Futurama character. It was like when I first started out trying to make the like social media stuff, I was very serious about not doing too many recognizable characters. I was like, no, I'm gonna make my own art, my original characters, and never have to worry about copyright. And it's gonna be great. And then it it's sort of just, I don't know. I don't care anymore. Like, it's not that I really care that people aren't watching these videos. It doesn't really matter that much right now. You know, I'm just learning. But I think sometimes you see like a cool trendy thing and you're like, oh, that does look like fun. Like, what if I did do the ice bucket challenge? That is the most dated reference I possibly could have made right now. Oh my gosh, I guarantee like half of the viewers are gonna be like, what is that? When was that? Like 2012? How long ago was that? Like, some of y'all were babies when that happened. I am really dating myself. So yeah, does anyone remember the ice bucket challenge? But like you see trending things, and it's like you start out, you're like, oh, I would never do that just for the likes, and then like I'm not even doing anything for the likes. I'm just like, oh man, but that does sound kind of fun. Maybe I'll just do it anyway. Ugh, this is lagging terribly. I really should have restarted. Oh, you know what? Discord. Discord is always the problem child, isn't it? Gotta close Discord. Can't have that open. Like I'm really not. I don't know what any of these things look like right now. Yeah, that's kind of cute. This is lagging so bad. This is gonna like crash. I'm gonna crash Photoshop. Oh well. I just want to finish this. Alright. I feel like I'm doing alright for like a speed painting. And I really don't want to drag this on forever and ever. As much as it is kind of a fun little, cute little project, I don't need it to be perfect. Yeah. I think I will go back and blur some of these things eventually. But I don't know how. Wait, did I get the... What is that? How did that happen? That's not even on the same... Oh, I guess it's on the same layer now. I guess I merged them. I forgot about that. Alright. Yeah. Like, I would love to spend forever and ever on this and make it perfect, but I really don't have any time this week. That's kind of... I think this might be my only video this week. Because I am getting very suddenly busy in my personal life. Actually, I'm going to be doing a booth for the first time. So I feel like I'm constantly saying that in every video, like this is my first ever, but it really is. I have never done a booth at an event before. I've never tried selling original artwork before. Like I'm really brand new to all this. So it's very exciting, but it's also a little intimidating. And I've been running around like a crazy person trying to get all the necessary supplies, which I'm just glad that I've done. I don't know. I'm glad that I've done like camping events before, but I've never done like a vendor booth before. So we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really gonna go for perfection with any of this. Sorry. This is gonna be really sloppy. But yeah, I don't have enough time right now. That's okay. And again, I think I mentioned this in a recent video, but this is something I really try to remind myself is that if all you've got is 10 minutes, all you got is 10 minutes. Don't try to make it perfect. You know? If all you got for this Minecraft speed painting is like 3 hours max, like 2-3 hours, then that's what you got. That's gotta be enough. Yeah. Could I do better if I had infinite time? Yeah, totally. But I'm sure it'll be fine for what it is. And that's That's kind of the cool thing about doing this sort of a very like how do you call it, like reproducible style. Like when you know, start with your sketch and your blocking, and then you go on and refine things a little bit. If you stop at a certain point, it usually doesn't really look that bad, you know? So it's like, if I don't have enough time to finish it perfectly, I think it'll still be alright. Okay. Yeah. Alright, yeah. Yeah. A little less of that. And make this shape a little better. Yeah. Alright. A little less of that too. Yeah. Let's try to keep it a little bit clean. You know. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be the best. We're just having fun. I think I'm still trying to find my voice, in the sense that I'm still trying to find a way to write scripts that sound entertaining and reasonable, and, you know, that's what I'm trying to look for. Entertaining, reasonable, and motivational. So I want to come across as motivational but not too preachy, and I don't think I've quite figured that out yet. Because it is really easy to sound like I'm just like, oh, I'm such a good artist, I've got all this stuff figured out, and it's like, no, obviously, like, I'm just starting out in terms of selling artwork. Like, this is very much I write a lot of these scripts as like a personal journal, and then try to find a way to make them more relatable to a general audience. But it's kind of hard to figure out that tone. But I'm sure I'll get there eventually. I think a lot of it too is just, and this just goes for everything, right? Like, the harder you try, the harder it gets. Like, a lot of times when you're trying to do something, you're trying really hard at it, you just get like laser focused on the wrong thing. Like, oh man, my video quality is not good enough. It doesn't look quite right. Like, I need a better quality camera. And that's, you know, that's never what it is, right? I'm finding that more and more. Like, if you think the problem is your camera, your materials, like, it's probably not. Does that look good? I don't know. No, not really. No. No. Alright. Let's fill this in a little more. Yeah. I think I just want to, like, clean these up a little bit. Make it a little bit less crazy looking. And, like, call it a day, you know? So I'm going to clean this up a little, and then I'm actually going to do a little bit of text art with this font that I downloaded that I totally did not make. I'll get to that in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah. Let's just fill this in, and then add a little bit of a texture afterwards. Yeah. That looks better already. Again, easy stuff. Like, do not overcomplicate these things. You do not have to. The problem is really that you need a better camera. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you need a better camera. I did get a slightly better camera that I'm trying to figure out how to use. But I mean, realistically, that's probably not the issue. Those eyes are really weird. This is kind of weird too. Let's see. Just fill these things in a little bit. Alright. Sure. Oh. Yeah, sure. Alright. What's this? Oh, yeah, that looks better. Alright. Sure. Yeah, that looks way better. Okay. Nah, I don't need that much bounce weight. Maybe more here. Yeah. Alright. There? Sure. Okay. I'm just gonna go in with a real quick smudge tool. This is sort of my cheaty way of doing this. Shoot, I don't remember which which brush to use. There was like a really good default one, and then I put up a, you know what? Fine. Alright, it was like under dry media, I think. Yeah. Maybe it was that. No, not really. That's not even a smudgeable tool. How do I... Wow. I've been using this forever, and I still can't seem to remember how to do the smudge tool. Wet media brushes? I feel like one of these was definitely a good smudge tool. Yeah, let's try that. Ooh, that's funky. I don't like that, actually. I don't like that at all. But strength 100. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, actually, that works pretty well. Alright. Oops, I might need to cut that out. Oh no. Joyful words. This is so hard. not the drawing. The speaking while drawing. Have you ever tried to do a whiteboard problem? This is another really industry specific maybe. So like anybody who's worked as a software developer had to interview for developer jobs. Along with like probably a few other, engineering sciencey things. They ask you to do what's called a whiteboard problem for the interview usually. And a whiteboard problem is basically you have to solve a problem on a whiteboard in front of a bunch of strangers. It's exactly as fun as it sounds. They're awful, and I don't think anybody really likes doing it, but I do think it's probably one of the better interview methods, if I'm being totally honest. It really, really does just like show you how people think. But the problem is that it's not great for people who have like social anxiety. It's there's a lot of potential issues with it. I think this would be a little more shiny. Yeah. Oh, I should probably talk about what I'm doing instead of whiteboard problem. Oh no, but so whiteboard problems basically the gist of it is it's really difficult to multitask like that, especially if you haven't practiced a bunch. And so if you when I started doing whiteboard problems for interviews, specifically for programming interviews, I was terrible at them because I got so focused on solving the problem that I forgot to talk about it. And so they put me in front of a whiteboard, they gave me a problem, I was like, okay. And I was dead silent for, 30 seconds, and then I just started scribbling on the board. I was like, okay, I'm done. And the interviewer kind of kindly explained to me, like, that's not really what we're looking for. It's great that you could solve the problem. Some people can't, but we're actually more interested in you collaborating and explaining your solution to us. And so I had to do another problem and try my best to sort of explain my process and my thoughts behind it. And it was really hard. It's really hard to multitask in that way. Um, it's kind of scary. It's kind of stressful. It's confusing. It's just not how most people's brains work. And I feel like that is the same exact struggle that I'm facing right now with learning how to record myself while doing things. Even if it's just like recording my face while speaking, that's very daunting to me still. Um, but again, like I'll get better with practice, and I recognize that it's a new skill. I don't need to be perfect at it right now. I will keep getting better. But it is daunting. It really truly is daunting. Uh, yeah, but I don't know, it's a good challenge. People keep asking me like, why are you doing this? It's really difficult and stressful, and there's no like monetary incentive really. Um, but I'm having fun learning, and I also feel like we need a little more positivity in the world right now, especially on social media. Anyway, so all that has been very distracting from what I'm doing. That looks too messy. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to sparingly use the smudge tool to blend. You know what? I shouldn't be doing it there. I'm trying to sparingly use the smudge tool to blend some of these harsh edges and create like a gradient. And I think I'm overusing it and it's getting kind of muddy. But maybe I'll go back over with the hard brush later. See, like this is what I should be doing, not whatever I was doing. Okay, like this should definitely be blended out. Yeah, it's using the smudge tool is really difficult. A lot of artists have started doing it in recent years. It used to be kind of taboo. It used to be like a no-no, like you never ever use the smudge tool. It's so messy. You should, blend as you go, use textured brushes, like literally anything else. But I think the technology got better, is the honest truth. Because it used to be, uh, yeah, if any of you remember like old school Photoshop, it was not the same program it is today. So technology gets better, we start using it more and more for its intended purpose, or even new purposes that weren't intended. So yeah, basically, if you use the smudge tool, I do not ever recommend using like a hard round brush, a soft round brush. Like, don't use a plain round brush. It's just gonna look weird. It's gonna look really plasticky and kind of fake. So what you want to do, you want to use like, see this? This has like a cool texture. So you want to use a textured brush and just very sparingly use this smudge tool. I'm kind of using it all over the place right now, but don't try not to overuse it. Only try to use it where you're blending. Only try to use it in areas that really should have more of a soft blend. So even like, okay, so see here we've got all these like hard lines. I'm just blending like the edge of them just a little bit. You don't want to blend this thing too much. You don't want to blend like, you don't want to blend the texture out. So yeah, smudge tool can be a nice cheaty shortcut, but it's really hard to use actually. And I think if you try it on your own, if you've ever used it before, you probably agree. Like it's easier said than done. So if you go into your program and you're like, oh, I'm gonna copy this real-time tutorial Minecraft thingy that I saw on the internet, and you try to use the smudge tool and it looks really bad, yeah, don't worry about that. You can go your entire process without using it, as many of us used to do back in the day, as many people still do. And instead you can just sort of layer textured brushes, soft round brush, whatever works. But I do highly recommend that you use a little bit of texture when you're blending, even if it is, you know, even if you're blending something very smooth, something that's really nice and something that's really shiny. Like even if you're blending metal, metal has these little tiny, scrapes and dents in it. Just yeah, just don't yeah. Just use a little bit of texture. And so because I did that neat little, why am I struggling with this? Because I did that neat little bit of texture over there, I think I'm gonna, ooh. Oh, I accidentally clicked on a different brush. Whoops. All right. Okay. I should probably move that to the front. All right. Let's bring, yeah, that looks better. Okay. Yeah. Now we're having fun again. It's all good. All right. Yeah. I'm just kind of using this to like outline it again, because again, I don't have forever to make this picture perfect. I'm using some cheaty little techniques that, maybe you'd see more in like comic art, speed paintings, which this is a speed painting, so it makes sense. All right, let's bring that color in. Let's do like that real quick. Just trying to speed up this process because I am busy. But it's good to be busy. And I'm looking forward to doing that booth. It'll be fun. Let me use that. Mm-hmm. Sure. Why not? Ooh. Yeah, this needs a little bit of a line now. That'll be cool. Yeah. Let's bring back that hard line. We try to avoid hard lines in sort of more 3D looking painterly art like this, but it's such an easy way of sort of cheating. In fact, I'm gonna take this and take a slightly darker thing and just do like a, oh yeah, let's do like a that. Yeah. Alright. It's fine. Don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I kind of want to use this for this beak. Yeah. Do that, maybe. Yeah. Ambient occlusion. I forgot that word in the other video, but I remembered it now somehow. It's always when you don't actually need to remember something that you remember it, or maybe that's just me. Alright. Maybe a little here, maybe a little there. I should probably do more of a shadow underneath their feet too. I don't know. I don't really care. Do I even like this shadow? The shadow is kind of stupid. I don't really like that shadow. One of the best things you can possibly do in art is to say, to be able to recognize when you are falling into sunk cost fallacy. Say like, hey, I spent a ton of time making this and it's bad and I'm gonna redo the whole thing. This will save you so much headache in the art world in the long run. They have a really morbid way of describing it called kill your babies, or I think it's kill your darlings. That's the more that's the more appropriate way people say it. But my art teacher literally said kill your babies. It just stuck with me forever. It's so bad, but it's so true. Um, yeah, kill your darlings. Um, it is really important. Wait. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur, just a little bit. Yeah, it's fine. Multiply. Eraser. Do like a, yeah, I'm just gonna do like a soft eraser brush real quick. I'm so bad at shadows, man. I need to get better. It's really difficult to make good shadows in digital because like actually good shadows are they're not really that soft. They're usually kind of like hard lines. They never look quite right. I do think that oh yeah, that might help actually. I mean, just make it smaller. Just make the shadows smaller, that would help. Especially since it's coming from above. Like, why are my shadows so bad? Because they're facing the wrong direction. Alright. Um, ooh, I feel like I could make it darker now too. Well, maybe. I don't know. Like, blur it more. Yeah, sure. You know what? That's fine. I don't really care anymore. Maybe even do like that. Okay, perfect. Beautiful. I've never seen a better shadow in my entire life. But I do want to make sure that I make my eraser a hard shape again. Okay. Alright. I feel like I'm getting to a good point with this. I do want to touch up that grass in the foreground. So yeah. I should probably name that layer, but I'm not really working with that many layers right now. Okay. We're back on the hard round brush. I just want to kind of... I'm not even going to fix these shapes that much, just a little tiny bit, you know? Just make them more readable for what they are. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm working with this tiny, tiny little tablet. I have a bigger tablet. I think it still works. I don't know if it's broken. I think it still works, but um, I need to figure out how to plug it in. I've moved so many times recently, and in general that I misplace and lose cords all the time. I need to find somebody with one of those, the famous like bucket full of random cords. Because I might be the only person in the world who needs that. Just give me all of your old cords. I'm pretty sure I don't need an Ethernet cable, so before you even start, no, I don't need 25 Ethernet cables. Um, but I might be able to use some of the rest, unironically. Hmm. I'm really curious, like, because I legitimately have never done this before. This type of a recording, I'm really curious if I'm gonna listen back through it and it'll just be like way too much empty space. It's hard to tell how you're doing real time. Am I being funny and relatable? Am I cursing way more than I thought? Uh, Time will tell. If I edit this tomorrow, that time will be tomorrow. Yeah, it's probably just gonna end up being like 3 solid hours of me occasionally giggling at myself, which is fine. Uh, I feel like a lot of people are just gonna. I feel like almost 100% of people are gonna look at how long this video is and just go, we're not that close friends. It's still mostly like my IRL friends just watching the videos. Be like, Heron, I don't have time for this right now. Um, but this is true, and I probably mentioned this already. YouTube sent me an email saying like, please make an hour plus long video. They sent it to everyone who's ever created a YouTube video, and they were like, we want our creators to make longer video content because they've just sort of like accepted their fate as people now only watch YouTube videos when they're like eating food and need background noise. um, so they're trying to get more people to do that. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. I am more happy with that than I thought I would be, to be honest. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right. It's messy, but I don't really care. Do I? No. I care a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna pull that lightest light and I'm gonna just give it one little satisfying, slightly more yellow highlight. Yeah, like that. Okay, that's kind of. I'm going really fast with this, and I apologize. I should be describing probably what I'm doing more. Um, but again, I'm just thinking. Actually, I'm probably doing the grass in completely the wrong way. I was gonna be like, I'm trying to think about the light source, and I realized that's not true. There's like no light source whatsoever with the foreground. Like, I've completely lost the light source with the foreground grass, but that's gonna have to do for now. All right. I have decided that I'm impatient and I want to just do this now. Okay, so I'm going to pull one of these colors and I'm going to write Minecraft's babies. And surprise, I downloaded this cool font. Yeah. Yay. Oh, so here's a fun fact about fonts. Actually, I feel like it looks better like that. You think so? Yeah. I'm getting distracted. Maybe not. No, it looks better centered. All right. Here's a fun fact about fonts. Um, you cannot easily copyright a font. I think the vast majority of fonts are not copyrightable. And therefore, if the person who created the font is feeling very generous, they can always just put it online for free. And if you find it, you can download it, and now you have that font. And you're allowed to use it in whatever you want. So, especially with Minecraft, I'm not too worried about this because they not notoriously, they sort of famously have exceptions for things like streaming and art in their terms of service, which is why you see so much of it all over the internet. Because specifically Minecraft is like really not that hard to use legally. And I honestly, I do love this game. I probably should have mentioned that. Like, I actually have been playing Minecraft consistently since it came out for PC. I was what, like 12 years ago now, something like that. Um, yeah, it's a classic, you know. I was, gosh, I was like 15 when it came out, and it's crazy to me that it's still relevant. Like, I do think the fact that they did that with the copyright and everything had a big impact on that. I think that's a big part of why that it was kind of revolutionary what they did at the time when they were like, oh, hey, um, you know, I made this original game. It seems to be really popular. I'm just gonna encourage people to stream it. I don't think it really needs that. Yeah, I want some sort of a cool effect, but it's not that. Um, but yeah. Oh, maybe I should put like my own thing under it? I don't know. Nah, I don't really care. No, you know what? Just in case. Simply joyful designs. Yeah. Okay. So I actually have two different fonts. I have two different fonts, and they're both really cool. Yeah. All right. I want that to be maybe a different color. I think I want to. I really like the shape of both of these. I'm gonna rasterize it, and I'm going to see if I can put like a cool glow of. Oh, wait. Okay, how about rather than that, I do like an outer glow? This is not really much of a tutorial. If I feel like I should be explaining everything I'm doing, and I just keep getting distracted. Again, it's like a whiteboard problem. It's really hard. So Photoshop, if you double click on a layer, it brings up the layer style. And from there, you get all these really cool options for what to do with this layer. So I'm like, what if I did a really soft sort of glow effect like that instead? Does that make any sense? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think that looks very good. I like the color, I just don't know what to do with it. And I feel like it does honestly just look better that way. What if I did an inner glow? Oh, wait, I need to Oh, I hid the effects layer by clicking that little icon thing. What if rather than an outer glow, I did an inner glow with that color? That sounds kind of cool, right? I don't know. Opacity. Why is this so not showing up at all? Screen should work. Maybe? Screen. Okay, what is the problem here? Size. Oh, and it's going from the edges. I want it from the center. No. Edges looks way cooler. Alright. Yeah. That's interesting. Sort of brings it to life a little. I don't know if that's too subtle. I feel like it's really, really missing something. You ever get that feeling where, like, okay, this is kind of cool, but it desperately needs something and I have no idea what? Like the effects? Yeah, I like the effect. Alright. Alright. I feel like I'm getting so impatient. I just want to be finished with this and it's making me sloppy. What if I did... Ooh, where's that? No? There we go. What if I did that and like way smaller? No, that doesn't look good. It's really missing something. You know what I mean? So it's got like this cool shape. I really like the shapes. I like the text. It looks nice at the bottom. This is not the right size for shape for either YouTube or Instagram. I really need to work on that. I'm still not used to the idea that everything has to be a certain shape. So like Instagram, if you make a landscape thing, like a landscape video, and post it to Instagram in the landscape format, you will get like 0 views. It's crazy. People just scroll right past it. They're like, what is that weird thing? I don't know. It really has to fit the format. And I'm not sure if it probably reformats it in different people's phone incorrectly because, yeah. Okay, what do I need? Hmm. I feel like this area needs something. Like a feather? Um, hmm. Let's think about this. What can we add to this that's really thematic and would tie the whole thing together? So, okay, we'll consider that like title. It's sort of part of the grass. It blends right in. All right. When we first look at this, we go sort of like a there. We do this whoosh. We need to tie it back here with something that either goes this way or sort of like a this way. I feel like I'm not explaining this very well. So right now I'm trying to talk about the layout. So it's a square, notoriously difficult format. I don't know why I do this to myself. It's a square layout. It's split. So it's split in sort of two places. So this shape breaks up the square into this shape and this shape and then this shape at the bottom. So that's good. But because of that, it creates this one singular vanishing point. So this line goes out to here and it meets this line right here. And then you've got the other sort of continuation, which is these two guys' head. So every single element in this composition is being pulled to this single point off screen right here, off the canvas. So we need a way to pull that back in, and there's a couple different ways of doing that. So one of the best dynamic ways to do that, especially if it's like a fight scene, is you put another thing going across this way. You create like this nice X shape. But another thing to do when they're more static, like they are now, is I like to sort of curve it back in around, almost like you can picture like a spiral, like that. So I need something here that either goes like this direction or sort of like like a curve. So like a speech bubble would work. But Minecraft doesn't really use speech bubbles very much at all. Doesn't use them at all. um, okay. Chickens, babies. What noise do the chickens make? I don't know. Just like a bark. I could even literally do like a comic book sort of a. Where's the. That's the. Yeah. I could do like a. What's that? Like dark, bright red thing that they do, or they do like a. Hmm. Or do like a. Like that? I don't know. That's kind of cute, actually. I kind of like that. Um, makes it look kind of dumb. Um, hmm. It's like an anvil falling on its head. Uh, how can we make this thing more interesting? Hmm. It needs one more little element to create a little intrigue, maybe a little joke. Oh, my creative brain is not working right now. And the funny thing is, you're probably screaming at the screen right now because I've probably shown you early on in the video what the finished product looks like. So you've seen it in the thumbnail and in the beginning of the episode, and you're just screaming like, "It's this thing! You chose this thing!" And I don't know, I don't know what it is yet. I'm sorry. I don't mean to drag this out forever. I genuinely don't know what to do. Um, what does a chicken do? I raise chickens. I should know this. Um, they poop a lot. Oh no. Um, actually, hmm, I don't want to use a black because I feel like that would be too harsh, but I'll bring back this dark color here, maybe something like that. Maybe that's kind of cool. I do kind of like these like lines, these like exclamation lines. I don't know. I'm not a comic book artist, but they do look pretty cool. I'm not a comic book artist, and I guarantee these aren't gonna look right, and people are gonna be like, "What are those weird lines above its head?" Um, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, speech bubble doesn't make any sense. What can we do? Like a feather? Feathers falling on its head? That doesn't make any sense either. Draw like an apple. Apple's about to hit the chicken on the head. No, poor baby. Um, I wish you could like shout at me from the future what it is that I decide to draw. Um, hmm. Chickens like seeds. You draw a little fly. Maybe. They did have like lightning bugs. A little tree here. uh, hmm. Ah. Hmm. Um. Make the brush a little bigger. Hmm. Oh, I could use the red from the red thing to be very precise. Hmm. I kind of dig that. I don't know. Minecraft babies question mark. Uh, I don't know, man. What does a baby chicken do? I guess I do have a solid black in here. I keep forgetting about that. I keep thinking that'll be too harsh, but I do have another one. Burp. It's like static though. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. Help. Hmm. Huh. I am so at a loss. I don't know. Just kind of want to like add in literally anything. Maybe I should put a tree in the background. That might help. Create more depth. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Um, hmm. Yeah, that kind of works, actually. Alright, but I want to... I'm going to put it on a separate layer. In case I want to get rid of it or something. I'm going to make this even bigger. Yeah, I hate that. Egg? Can I offer you an egg in this trying time? Maybe I should draw it. Oh. Maybe I should just draw an egg. Literally. It's an interesting idea. Some shape diversity. Yeah, I could do that. Do like a wah. And like a wee. I could do some, ooh, that on that side even. Maybe do it on this side. Yeah. Do like a wah. Okay. And then, oh, in fact, I could even tilt this a little bit, make it a more interesting shape. Like that, maybe? Sure, why not? Giant chicken egg. Why not? Wait, aren't they square, though? I don't really care. No, they're not square. The eggs aren't square. Alright, there it is. Brush. Okay. I'm gonna smudge it a little bit. A little smudge. Smudge, smudge, smudge. Okay. A little like that. Do some of that. This is so messy. Gosh, I hope this turns out okay. This is terrible. Alright, trust the process or something. I don't know. Maybe? Trust the process. Okay. Yeah. Put like a... Alright. Smudging more. Smudge. Smudge. Smudge like your life depends on it. I want to end this video. Yeah. Add more of that back in. Sure. Why not? Okay. In case you don't have much experience drawing a round object, you should probably use a reference at this point. This is not as easy as it looks. But I really love drawing still life. In fact, I need to do more of that again. That's something I really should make time for because I forget how much I love drawing like fun, interesting still life until I do it again. Wow, that is like super round unnecessarily so. Okay, oh, I should, I'm gonna lock the opacity on this layer so that I can do a real quick shadow. Maybe even bring in like a, ooh, that could be fun. Yeah, like a, maybe? I don't know. I feel like this whole thing is a little, oh, yeah. No, I want the levels. Image adjustment levels. No, not that. I never understood how to use curves. It's like the same thing as levels, but it's really confusing. I think it's better for... I think it's more for like photographs. Yeah, I don't... Ooh, I actually do want that a little bit just overall darker. In fact, I'm going to make this more sort of bluish greenish. I'm going to colorize with my hue saturation and make it kind of this like green color, but like not that much. Okay. Just a little bit. In fact, then I'm gonna bring back... Ooh, I'm actually gonna do something I said I wouldn't do, and I'm gonna turn the hardness down to 0 and use this shiny brush, but that's okay because there's a ton of texture in it already, so it should work out. Hopefully. Yeah, that's alright, I think. I don't know. And then let's bring that blue back. I really love this blue. This bounce light color is so cool, man. Alright, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Make that egg nice and blue. Yeah, said no one ever. Add some of that back in. Definitely add some of that back in. This is looking like way too shiny. This is why we don't do this. Alright, okay. You know what? That actually looks pretty solid. Okay. Alright. Maybe like a... Yeah. Can't go wrong with like adding a little bit of a reflection nearby. Alright. Yeah, if you've never drawn like particularly a lot of still life, then don't try winging this. This is not that easy. Why am I doing that? I don't know. I should probably draw some of... Oh, yeah, that makes more sense. Speaking of reflection, let's make it a little bit more subtle, but I would love to add, yeah, some of the yellow in there. All right, just maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit. Maybe not the yellow, maybe like the... Yeah, that looks better. Okay, a little... Whoa! Make the egg a little more brown. I don't know. That looks kind of neat, right? Yeah, I don't hate that. That's interesting. Um, Oh, I just got a cool idea. All right, let's go back to the hard round brush. Yeah, eggs don't have as much texture anyway. Actually, no. You know what? I will. Just because I said that, they do. They actually do have a lot of texture. I should add more of this smudge texture back. Make it look more real. But it had a little too much texture earlier. I think it was starting to look a little weird. All right, now I want to take this sort of darkest dark, and I want to turn the opacity all the way back up. I'm gonna do like a... Yeah, like you get where this is going. Yeah. Okay. Everybody likes a good cracked texture in an egg. Don't we all? But for real, like I think cracked texture in anything is just like an easy win. You know, there's some things you look at it, you're like, wow, that is so easy to make. It's like low effort, high reward sort of situation here. You know, it's usually a pretty good deal. Okay, like that. Yeah. I'm gonna make some of these little shapes maybe. Fill some of them in even, like it just broke apart and now it's solid, or the opposite of solid. No, it's not solid anymore. Um, yeah, like some of these. Yeah, that looks pretty neat. Yeah, okay. And I've added all this cool shapes. Yeah, I think I can work with that. And now, I'm wondering how many of you forgot that there was an egg in the background. And when I was saying I don't know what I'm doing next, you're like, me either. I forget. Egg is not the thing that I remember most, actually. That's okay. Me either. Apparently. Alright. Yeah. That looks pretty cool. Okay. So we have this kind of nice crack shape. And then we want to just add a little bit of a darker dark. Add a little bit of depth there. The places that would be a little, you know, deeper, or just sort of around the outside. Yeah, like that. What is that? I feel like that's on another layer. Whatever. Yeah, see that little blue thing? I gotta get that. Okay. Here's our egg. Yep, beautiful, beautiful egg. All right. Okay. Beautiful egg. Just like how chickens used to make them. All right. Yeah, that's fine. All right, I added some darker darks, and then I'm gonna go in with the sort of lightest highlight, just a little lighter, not too much. I'm gonna add, whoops, add a little highlight just to make it really pop. Make the, make the cracks look a little bit more 3D. Not too much. Just sort of, yeah. If we highlight the shell around the cracks, make it look like it's popping up a little bit. You know how like if the eggshell cracks, it goes either like in or out a little bit. It doesn't quite sit perfectly anymore. So yeah, I feel like that's pretty good actually. Yeah. Now I feel like it's missing something. Still. I just want to like move the egg around a little bit. Face a different direction. Nah. Maybe. Yeah. I don't like that direction. It's just that it's also like the the cracks are now also going in the same direction. I have not fixed the problem at all. All right, I'll add some more cracks going in the other direction. It's fine. I'm a professional. Am I a professional? I don't know. I haven't really sold that much art. How much art do you need to sell before you're like a professional artist versus like a, you know, like a quasi-professional artist? Like what are we talking here? Um I mean, I still feel like I've sold more work than Vincent van Gogh did in his life, so are we counting like post-mortem? Um Many interesting philosophical questions that are not at all helping right now. That's me. Many unhelpful philosophical questions. That's too bright. All right, let's take one of these. Whoops. Yeah, Ooh, that actually looked kind of cool. Alright, like that maybe. Yeah, I can dig that. I think that's kind of neat. I don't know. Does it look like an egg? I think it looks kind of like an egg. I feel like it needs, yeah, like another soft, round, low opacity brush of white just to tie it all together. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that looks kind of good. Yeah, that looks good. And then, all right, the very last technique that I'm going to try that I might not even end up using at all. I'm going to try, will it work on the white background? I think it will. I'm gonna try an opacity layer. What does that mean? There's no such thing as an opacity layer. I'm gonna try a, what's it called? Overlay. There we go. All right, I'm gonna try an overlay layer. So before I do overlay, I'm just gonna do normal, just to show you what I'm doing. So sometimes, see how I have this like blue light that really pushes it further back? I might do even more of that. So I might just like go kind of crazy with it. You know? And then at the same time, I'll do another like bright, bright, bright yellow. Push everything a little bit to the foreground, if that makes any sense. Like, and then I'm gonna. This looks crazy, I know, but trust me, trust the process, or don't. I don't care. I'm gonna blur it more. I'm gonna do like even more of a Gaussian blur. Oh yeah, that looks good. All right. And then I'm gonna go to my overlay. I'm gonna do, yeah, okay. It's hard to like explain what it does, you know, but it does something. It's okay, no, I can explain it. Um, okay, this is an outdoor scene. Light from the sun is yellow. Things that are in shadow are picking up more light bouncing off from the sky and other blue things. And also just the atmosphere, like the water in the atmosphere is blue. So things that are in shadow tend to be a little more blue. Things in direct sunlight tend to be a little more yellow. Things that are closer also tend to be yellow, for a slightly different reason, actually. Because the things, well, that's for the same reason of the blue. Things in the background tend to be more blue, because of the water in the air. So the more air that we're looking through to see something, the more, let me see if I can, is this making a difference? I can't tell. I don't think so. I feel like it's too light now. I feel like I need less of this. Yeah, okay. Do I want to maybe do like a soft light instead? Vivid, no. Definitely soft light or overlay. Soft, I like soft light better. Okay. Yeah, alright. Um, I think we're done. I like the egg is a little weird. I don't know. Weird egg in the background. Do I care? Levels. Let's just mess with the levels for the egg a little bit. Yeah, I want like that. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I want that. it to be like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Switch on and off the preview. Yeah, that's what I want. And I also think I want to change the color of the egg. To be just like a little more blue. Does that make any sense? Yeah. I'll just switch the whole thing up. I'm not really supposed to, not good practice to move the whole thing when it's on all the colors, but I don't really care. All right. I still feel like the egg is weird. You know what? Let me add, gonna go back to my smaller hard round brush. I'm going to add sort of an outline to it, similar to the outline that we added to the other things, and I think that might fix the problem. Ah. I don't want that anymore. All right. Ah. But I do want a darker color. Maybe this color. Sure. All right. I'm gonna do just like a sort of a, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Like a green outline to the egg. Is that looking good at all? Yeah, that pulls it all together. All right. Sometimes you just gotta keep going until it looks right. This is another thing I'm finally realizing about art. Um, if you look at it and you're like, wow, I hate that, just keep going. That's really all we mean when we say trust the process. We don't mean that like process is gonna fix everything, but chances are that if there's something wrong with it, you can fix it if you keep trying. So yeah, keep trying. I don't know why I did that, but it looks it looks kind of good. Um, hmm. Yeah, that looks kind of interesting. See, it needs more texture. That's what I'm talking about. Needs more weirdness texture. It's too round. See, and if the egg needs more texture, what does that tell you about everything else, right? Like everything needs more texture. It really, really does. All right. Yeah. Sorry, I need to I need to bleep that again. I need to get better at this. I'm struggling. All right. Yeah. Doesn't really look like it belongs. If I'm being honest, I feel like the egg is just like really not fitting in. It doesn't look quite right. I'm gonna do that. Did that fix it? No. Hmm. All right. Did that fix it? I'm about to give up on this whole egg. This whole egg. I don't know. I feel like that kind of did help though. Is it good enough? Maybe. I do really like the outline. I feel like that helped. Now I feel like I kind of need to outline the chicken more. I feel like I thought I was done like ages ago, and I'm still working on it. But yeah, I just want to place the right amount of emphasis on the chicken. And I feel like to do that, it now needs a darker outline because it's no longer outlined against the white background, that's outlined against the egg. Yeah. Oh, that really pops. Okay. I know it's really messy, but I might have to just call it done. Yeah. I mean, I do. I kind of like that, though. I really do. I'm going to try one more thing, and it's probably not going to work. But I do... Actually, is this above? I think it is, yeah. I do want to try... Oh my gosh. Does that work? That kind of works. It's so silly. I thought of this the other day. This is the one really nice benefit actually to spending multiple days working on something is you think of so many creative ideas in that time frame. And you'll be like, "Oh wow, I could do this and I could do this." And it's just I think I'll make a video about this soon, but yeah. Like if your brain is going on a tangent, that is just the best for creativity. Just let it roll. Let it keep going. Because sometimes those crazy, weird ideas in the middle of the night are just great. I can't believe this actually worked. I really didn't think this idea would work. I thought it would be too much, too confusing, but I do actually kind of like it. I think it is a little too much. I need to dial it back, but I really like it in general. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's do another quick back check. Maybe take a few more of these off. Yeah, yeah, but I think it's cute. I think, adding a little grass texture is nice. All right. I'm sure I will try to record an outro separate to this. So, goodbye. All right. Hope you enjoyed my baby chicken from Minecraft. Here's the finished product. I think it came out pretty well. Thanks you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, y'all.